Good evening, traders. It's Mark here from the Day Trading Room. The time is 10 to 8 London time on Tuesday, 22nd of February 2011. President's Day yesterday, so I wasn't trading at all yesterday. I planned to take the day off and I stuck to that. Um, I know oil was very volatile yesterday for the short time it was open, and I was checking on the iPhone, but I didn't feel like I was missing out because I knew that today we'd have a lot of volume coming in. There'd be a lot of opportunities. So just stick with the plan. Spend the time off, relax, know that you can come in the next day, and there's going to be continued opportunities. It's almost the same as if you see a volume move on the market, and if you're not involved in it, okay, you don't need to panic about missing it. You know that subsequently there's going to be a setup that comes from that, and that was really what happened to me yesterday. I had a little quick look on the iPhone while I was out, looking at the action. But just really getting prepared for today, and I'm really going to get aggressive and make the most of the opportunities. Excuse me, which is what I did. So let's run through the trades very quickly. The Dow is still open now. Got about an hour and 10 left on that. I'll run through a couple of the Dow trades I did. Not very good on the Dow, but oil pretty good. Pretty pleased with today. First trade for me, short at 97.10. Why was that? Well, we just pushed up and up and up, and just seeing how we're reacting really above the 97. Yeah, we know it's all. We know the oil price spike is based on the Middle East tensions. There's nothing else. It's not fundamental supply of oil. It's not fundamental demand. So it could go either way. They could think it's how people are perceiving this. If people are thinking, okay, it's going to die out soon enough, then there's quite a good premium on oil compared to where we were, several days ago. Even where we've been, it's the highest we've been since summer uh, of last year. So I guess if you were a producer of oil and you're seeing it at 98, 97, you might think of doing some hedging. You might think of locking in some profits here. Compared to where, excuse me, where you were basing your profit margins if you're a refiner. So if you're a producer of oil, a couple of days ago when you're around at 88, $10 premium makes a lot of difference to your bottom line. I think if I was producing oil, if I was drilling in oil and I was pumping out oil at the ground, and I could get a bit of 90, I mean, bit at $98, I would probably do a bit of hedging. So that's, I guess, what has happened today really. And it's sort of what I had in the back of my mind. I'm not really concerned about the overall fundamental side of the trade. I'm really, really price action type of guy. Short term trading, and it makes no odds anyway if you're taking 20, 30 cents out of the market, what the fundamental underlying trend is. But it helps sometimes to get your head around what's going on. So short for me, first trade for me was short at 97.10. Boy, I wish I'd held that now. 97.10. I closed that pretty quickly for a scalp at just under the 97 level, 11-cent scalp, nothing much. And that was really as we just saw us pushing up above the 97. Just saw a load of sellers coming in. Take reading. Just wanted to get a nice scalp under my belt. The high was 35, so it pushed up, but the sellers just came in pretty sharpish. And I was just looking for a pullback to the 97. I got a little bit of rubbish entry on that. But I'll take 11 cents. Then just sat back and watched. Just wanted to see how the sort of sentiment was really. We push lower, but at that point you don't know whether it's a flush out before it's going to continue higher, because obviously there is some strength behind it. We've had a good run. It was 88 on Friday, 17th. We're around at the 89, 88 level. So for it now to be at the 97 level, it's a big old move. So yeah, I just wanted to see how it was going to pan out. Really, didn't want to get too carried away, but just took that scalp at the open. We were starting to push lower, and the pullbacks were quite shallow. And I just saw us approaching this 96, and just thought, well, I wouldn't mind a little long here on a flush lower, the old flush trade, flush through the 96, a full dollar move. In a short period of time, it's worth a counter trend long. Had a limit in at 95.84. I missed it by I think it was 10 ticks. Yeah, I went to 94. Didn't flush as low as I wanted. I didn't really want it in the mid 90s. There wasn't much of a didn't see much value there. So I missed that one. Popped up, had a little scalp here on the long side as we just started pushing above that resistance. Nothing to get excited about there. And then it just just held at this level, and you think if it's going to be a genuine range trade, or if this is a pullback before we push higher, the buy it's not going to hold too long before the buyers step in and push it up. So for me, this is the sort of level that I make the decision as to what's going to happen. uh, I've just got my eye here on the Dow. I've got a short. Let me just run through this trade, just discuss it quickly while we can. I've got a short based on the the stochastics coming up, and it's the first overbought condition after the downtrend. I'm looking for new lows into the close. Got an hour to go. There's my short entry there. High tick of the day as well, which is nice. The overbought condition. I've got my stop at a break even now on that, so I'm just going to hold that and look for the lows. So I just got one eye on that. It's a small position, but so be aware. I'm just looking over at that. Anyway, back to the oil. Yeah, this was sort of the turning point for me, if you like. This point here, and I did do a little scalping here, which was fine, but not the point. The idea, I was looking here whether we're now going to drive upwards or we're going to continue lower. And that's really the sort of decision, the turning point, the crossroads, if you like. When I saw this tape selling coming in, volume almost the biggest bar of the day, apart from the initial 2 o'clock bar, just pipped that. Jumped on that 96.22, scaled out for 10. Yeah, I realised that I've been a bit silly with that one, and re-shorted at 96.04. Hang on a second, I've missed out some exits here. Bear with me. Okay, right. I've added the entries now. Just scanned through my executions, and the last trade, what was I talking about, was the short here at 22. That's it. Yeah, the tape selling came in short at 22. Grabbed 10 cents. Realised I was late in the day, late at the exit on that. In actual fact, when I'm looking through all my trades now, I do realise how it's a little bit inefficient the way I've been trading this. But it doesn't matter. It's putting money in the bank. It's one of the things I do try to work on. But the range was so high on oil. I think when you're seeing the profit so quickly, and we're talking like a minute, less than a minute on some of these trades, to see 10 cent, 20 cent profit, you tend to think, okay, that's not a bad little trade. Later on, I'll show you what trade actually I decided to hold. But at the beginning of the day, I guess it's a bit of a defense mechanism for me. Just I am a scalper, short-term trader. Anyway, yeah. So the short at 96.22 covered it at 12. Realised I was a little bit eager with that, and the low probably was going to go. So re-shorted that at 96.04, worst price on the exit, and then came out as we flushed under that 96 to 96.91, which was a pretty rubbish exit, really. 15 cent trade. 13 cent trade. So I'm just getting distracted by the Dow. Yeah, really, I would want to just hold on to, or at least scale out some and try and let it run a little bit. But just under that 96, the volume was high. I thought, okay, is this the flush that you're trying to come out into? So yeah, okay, happy to put that in the bank, more than happy. But if you think of the position that I first shorted it at, and the whole move, not very efficient. Yes, the 91, so that was there. So that candle's quite deceiving because that's quite a deep candle, that. But the exit was up in this this point here. But still happy to take that. We push lower here. I'm just sitting now, waiting, thinking, is this going to be a long? Is this going to be a real heavy down day? Don't forget, we had a lot of upside yesterday, so it's a lot of range on the downside to go if it really wants to do that. Really got to look at the tape. The tape helps so much today. I cannot emphasize how much, the amount of times, especially on the leg down, and I'll talk about the tape a lot with this turning point here. On the leg down, you would see sellers step in at the 10 cent, every 10 cent increments, and that's evident actually. If you look at, this is still, if you look at the dome here, you can see how much more volume there is at every 10 cents. These volume bars show you how much was traded, and I just want to show how key the whole numbers are and the 10 cent levels are. 97 obviously, not so much at 90, but don't forget we ran through very quickly at the open. 80, you can see how much more trade was done relative to the numbers in between. 70, reasonable level there. 60, huge amount. 50, another disproportionately high bar relative to all the interim numbers. Oh, we've moved. Um, then again at 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, whole number, high spike level there. And then as we come down to 60 here, 40, 30, you can see we are 20. The whole numbers big at 95, and then as we dropped under the 95, that's where we did all the volume. 80, a lot more trade there. 70, so you can see. The point of it is that people are interested in these numbers, and obviously the whole numbers like the 94, 95, 96 are the best. But what was actually happening was there was a tape, there was a seller evident who was stepping up, and they were just sitting at those levels. They were letting it rock down and rock back up to them, and so that was something, a nice little setups to play off. And sometimes they'd lift a little bit, let it pop up a few cents, and then it would come back down very quickly, and they'd stick themselves back on that whole number level, or that 10-cent level. So that was okay. I retook another short here at 96.32, covered that at 24 and 20. Rubbish, really, really, really. Not great considering the whole move of there. I guess defense mechanism, as I say. But if I'm putting money in the bank, and plus the volatility is high, and you're used to different ranges of volatility. The tape would judder up, judder back down again. So okay, I'm pleased to get something out of that. Then a little scalp short here, covered as we pushed into here. That was the trade, and actually this was the trade that I remember was a real mess up on. No, this was a trade here was a real mess up on. I lost 10 cents due to a bloody entering the order error. It's pushing down. I thought I'd covered the position. I put it in and I clicked it again and ended up going long at 91. So I ended up having to take a 10-cent loss on that. Came out quickly at 81. If you, there's something to say actually. If you make an error, it doesn't happen very often, but occasionally, click your mouse twice or whatever. You've dragged your order, you thought you've put it in. Just come out. You don't want the trade. Don't even think, I'll just see what's going to happen. Just come out and mark it down in your journal as an error. Happens occasionally. Don't sit with it. Don't sit with a trade you don't want, because it's double whammy. You don't want the bloody thing. Just get out of it. 10 cents, all right. It was only on the position. It was only on the last scale there. So it's annoying. There's no doubt about it. It's annoying because it undoes your work from that trade. But it happens. So yeah, that trade there, that was the little keystroke error there. Coming down, took a short just for looking for one more push, but I'm nervous here. And actually, this was the trade that I looked for that really good flush, and when I didn't get it, the tape just changed here. It just changed. You could see the buyers were stepping in, and I thought this was perhaps the reversal point. So took a long at 61. Took the first scale off at 76. Was the one I thought, just hold now, and probably why I was so quick with my scalps on the short side, because I just thought it was probably overdue some sort of counter trend rally. So it was why I was more inclined and more willing to hold on the long side. So I took the long at 61, first scale at 76, then at 95, and I ended up coming out at 65 because 95 was a good, that's a great little trade on that. 39-point trade, fantastic. But I was looking for a move back up, perhaps to the midpoint. I didn't know we were going to be really deep, and I pulled the stop just above break even. Ended up getting stopped out at 65 on the last on that. So that wasn't the catch. That wasn't the trade we were looking for. This was a little tiny short, literally based on the tape again, and it worked out. It was a bit of luck, if I'm honest, because it would just pushed up, started to push down. I just saw this selling coming in, 63, hit it at market 63 and 56 when my fills are quite wide apart, and we just rolled over. And I just scaled out into the momentum. It's a classical trade for me. But I just got lucky, you know. I can't take too much credit for the actual the size of the trade, the size of the profit. Um, it just happened I wasn't one of the flushes, and that's really what happens, you know. If you are trading with the trend, and it could have happened on any of these, if you're getting the short and you're on the right side of the flush and you get one of those 40-cent flushes and you're coming out into it, it's great, you know. You just pop it in the bank. Looking over at the Dow here, you know, I've still got this short. As I said, I'm looking for it to revisit lows. Here we are now. uh, where are we? We're at 12,197 on the cash. You're going to watch this scale sum here. I'm looking for a good flush into the low into the low, so I'm going to try and hold on to some of this, but it's prudent to close some as we approach this low. Where are we now? 95. We're at the 96 cash level. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Let's. I will leave that. I don't want to get caught up, but I'm definitely have scaled some off there. That's fine. Where was I? Yeah. So you know that was a little bit of luck that I got on the end of that, and scaling out just literally into the flush. 27.34 and last one 94.04. Brilliant exit. Really pleased with that. Did go a lot lower actually, but you know more than happy with that trade from those levels to those levels. Really great. This here, the tape changed completely from being absolutely weak, selling, to changing into a different animal. You know, at this point here, which is why I put the little circle here, it just turned into buyers were just stepping up, and it's actually evident on this volume here. It just changed. They were just monstering up. They were taking bids. I could see big bids being left behind, 70s, 60s. And for me, that was when it was worth a go for the longer target. And to help me hold it, I took the trade. I put my stop in. My entry was at 94.09. A little bit late, but it, you know, I wanted just to see that I wasn't getting sucked into this and it was going to drive lower. And I just ended up. I said, you know what? This is the one to hold on to. This is the one to really look for that counter trend move, and it worked out. It worked out fantastically. You know, it was. I couldn't have asked for more on that. 94.09. I took some out at 94.71. I resisted the urge to take some out at 94.50. I came back, looked at what we were going on, and we were hammering around at this 50. I was so tempted to take 40 cents off the table. I resisted that urge. I resisted the urge because we were holding so much. I walked away. I pulled my stop back to break even on that. I thought it's been a really good profit from that earlier move. So you know, I can afford to now bring my stop up and leave some on the table. Fine. We've got a pop up here. 94.71 was my exit, and then my final exit was at 94.97. Just I let it go up to that through that 95, and then it just pulled back. This was this candle here. It went up through the 95, but then it pulled back on me, and I thought, okay, let's just get out of it now. Especially as that was the highest volume bar of the day. And this was I say this is the annoying trade of the day. I then thought I'm going to have a little nibble here short 95.07. I'm not going to give this any room because, as I say, it looked strong. It looked really nice and strong. I thought it could push up another dollar, and I used a tight stop. It was a silly place for have a stop. It was far too tight. I had it at 95.17, 10 cents, which was stupid, but I didn't want to risk any more. I should have reduced the size and given it more room to breathe, but I thought I'd spotted a tape seller there. I thought I'd nailed it right on above. I thought it was safe above the 95. I thought it would run back under the 95 quickly. It didn't. It popped up and stopped me on a 10-cent stop on that, and then it happened to roll over 50 cents. So, you know, what can I say? Gave 10 cents back on that, but after these two trades, I wasn't really concerned. You know, that was really I'm really pleased to get on the end of one and run one for a change, considering I'd scalped most of this move and just grabbing chunks anyway. So left it then, sort of take a little bit of a break. Just watching the things. Didn't get on the end of this. This was a good little setup actually. Good volume flush. There's your pullback first, pullback and then lower. Didn't get involved in this. Took a long here. only because we pushed up to the 95, pulled back, and then we started to push up pretty quickly. There was a take buyer at 96, 94, 96, so I put a stop at 94, 94. Very low risk for me. I popped up, took a quick 15 cents off that, and left the rest there. Then I took a long here at 45, went against me 9 cents, pulled back, decided to scratch it off. I was looking for some sort of drive at the close. It wasn't to be. Didn't want to do make any silly mistakes there. So overall, okay, pleased with that. Could have made better out of that. Little silly mistake there. Tried to get on the end of the long here, but fine, got two scales stopped out there. Lucky really to get on the end of this flush, but you know, if you're on the right end, you're on the right side of the market, you can be involved in the flushes. Really pleased with this, stuck with it. Something I really tried to do, and it worked out well. Dow trades, let's run through those quickly. Yeah, got a first scale and a stop out here on the first day. Pushed up. Just thought it was after that data. Thought, okay, they've had enough of that. Took a short there. Took a small scale. Then got stopped out as I pulled it to break even plus a little bit. Didn't get involved. And I should have taken this double top really, but I was too focused on oil. Came down here. Took a long here. I just thought, okay, we've flushed, we've done quite a lot. It's good volume. The ticks haven't gone as low as they could have done. A little position here, little add to the position here, and ended up closing it here, which was a few ticks profit. It was a waste of time really. It was okay on that second scale. With the first one, there was nothing to it. Just thought this is taking my eye off the more volatile oil. You know, leave it alone. Really took a short, as I've said, only because it's the first overbought condition we've had. I just scaled out some at that low, so I better put my arrow in. What was around there? And I'm going to hold this now. I'm going to put my stop to break even on the last and see if we can get a flush lower into the close. Looks okay, but we have cycled lower. And we are at the 10-200 level, 12-200 level on the Dow cash. So who knows, but I put some in the bank. That's the main thing. So not many trades on the Dow for me, but we'll see if I can get a nice little cherry on top for the end of the day. Good trading, guys. As I say, manage the risk. You know, you can't be perfect with the trades, and if I look at the oil, you know, it looks pretty scrappy. It would have been better to stick with that 97.10 and hold it for this flush here. Yeah, it would have been, but you know, that's not my style. I'm a tape reading type of trader. I'm a scalper, short-term trader. But you know, if it's putting profits in the bank, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just manage the risk. And yeah, I had a little go at holding some, and I got away with it, and I got a nice little trade out of it from this chunk here. So good trading, guys. Keep the strategy to what suits you. You know, it doesn't suit everybody. Same as swing trading doesn't suit everybody, nor does scalping. So do what suits you and your personality. Have the risk that's associated with your account size and how you want to trade it. And good trading. I'll be back with another video later in the week.